going on, Jerome's? Even though we were at an undisclosed location, Week 8 NFL weekend rolled along, right? And the Vikings game Thursday, whatever. So the Vikings started out fast, sort of gave it away now, especially on defense. And yeah, did they get screwed by the officials at the end? Absolutely. But should they have put the team in that spot? No. But anyways, it is what it is. Vikings 5-2, playing the Colts on Sunday Night Football. Sunday games. So, it's nice not to have a London game. But they're doing Germany here coming up. But the Eagles moving to 5-2 on the season, beating the Bengals 37-17. Now, I'm still thoroughly convinced that the Eagles are frauds, but I think the Bengals won the fraud off, right? And Hurts, still not buying Hurts. Saquon's doing his thing. Hurts did have a nice touchdown bomb to Devontae Smith, so we'll see what happens with Philly. Ravens fall at Cleveland, and it was a beautiful all-around game. They're honoring their late radio announcer, Andrew Siciliano, had a beautiful call at the end when the Browns defense held the Ravens out of the end zone, and also... I mean, Jameis in his first game in for Deshaun, dropping 3 touchdowns, throwing for 334 yards, and putting up 29 points, which is obviously way better than Deshaun has done in the last 2 seasons. So, yeah, it's like what we said the entire time. The Browns' offense would be better with Jameis, except they couldn't play Jameis because they traded heaven and earth for Deshaun Watson and basically sold their soul for Deshaun, right? And then, the Ravens. I mean, the Ravens were rolling. The Ravens are, frankly, one of the hottest teams in the league, if not the hottest, won 5 straight games, but they got humbled a little bit and just sort of is what it is. Like we said, like any given Sunday, some of these games are tough, and you really don't know what's going to happen. And the Browns, the Browns still probably will be sellers at the deadline. Little Denzel Ward action one time, or Greg Newsome. No. Then the Lions take on the Titans. Again, whatever. But I look forward to playing the Titans in a couple weeks. Hopefully it isn't a near-run thing. But this is actually close for like a second, right? And then Mason Rudolph and company fighting the good fight. But the Lions are just a friggin' wagon right now, right? And just coming down to all those blown opportunities, that second quarter defense, as well as, hey, Kevin O'Connell, 1 first down, and we got this thing. You could have gone for it on 4th, but anyways, Lions rolling. Got to respect that. Jahmyr Gibbs had himself a career day, helping out my fantasy team. Hey, Calvin Ridley finally got the ball. Cool. But we do need to say, Jared Goff threw for 3 touchdowns in this game, and they scored 52 points, but he threw for 85 yards. Like, when does he get the Brock Purdy treatment, where he's just a fraud surrounded by Avengers? Don't know. Then you got the Cardinals on the road upsetting the Dolphins. Well, I don't know. It was really an upset. But Tua was back. Tua was sliding. Cool. The Dolphins offense actually looked kind of good. Devin Achane looked decent. But the Cardinals down 2 scores late. Our guy Kyler went and rallied. Trey McBride putting up some huge numbers on National Tight End Day. It's pretty damn fantastic. And as we said, like the Cardinals are a little bit sportier than people give them credit, and everyone's marking down Week 13 game against the Cardinals as a win. I mean, that's going to be tough. Like, I know that people are touting this as the softer part of the Viking schedule, but every single game is tough, as evidenced by the Ravens and the Browns. Like, the enemy gets a vote as well. Also voting, the Patriots, putting the final nail in Aaron Rodgers' coffin. I mean, the Jets are bad. They should be sellers at the trade deadline. They should trade Hassan Reddick. Devontae Adams should get flipped to the Bills or something. I don't know. But the Jets have completely imploded, and you hate to see it, right? Because the whole thing about Aaron Rodgers, like, we knew that he was washed in 2022 because the Packers offense turned into a running team, not because of the love for Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. It's that Aaron Rodgers was bad. And he didn't get exposed last year because he got hurt after 2 seconds, but now he just doesn't have it anymore. And it was very foolhardy to make him the de facto GM and push all of your chips in with Aaron Rodgers. So love that the Jets are done, finito, dunzo. It's pretty fantastic. Hey, if you want to trade DJ Reed or Sauce Gardner, give it to my baby. That's right. Falcons moved to first place in the NFC South. Took advantage of the Buccaneers. Godwin with the dislocated ankle. Mike Evans with a pretty bad hamstring. But I don't know. Like Kirk Cousins and company, they get it done on the road. Bajan had himself a nice game. Pitts caught 2 touchdowns. Although that one was pretty much fumbled at the 1.5 yard line. Not saying, I'm just saying. And I still like the Bucks. I'm not completely buying into the Falcons quite yet, but this one should come down to the wire. Let's see what happens. Speaking of what happens, so Jordan Love exited the game against the Jaguars with looked like a groin injury. I think that's what they said. But Malik Willis came in and won another game. Stupid Jaguars. Hey, Jacksonville, you had this freaking game, but then you gave it away because you realized, oh, hey, we literally cannot tackle Josh Jacobs. Not that I'm bitter, right? But TBD what Love is going to do as he looks to return this week. Packers play the Lions. I will never root for the Packers, but if the Lions lost, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Not saying, I'm just saying. Also, the Colts, who the Vikings play this week, come up short on the road against the Texans. Texans just sort of survived. Diggs went down with an injury. Jonathan Taylor-Thomas was doing his damn thing. Josh Downs had himself a big game as well. Plus, the whole headline is Anthony Richardson looking to take himself out in the game. And now Shane Steichen is really unsure if he's going to start on Sunday night against the Vikings. So it could be Flacco season in that regard. Chargers, I mean, they just took care of business at home against the Saints. I mean, the Saints are just a bad and injured team right now. But they're like, hey, we extended Kamara. We extended our old-ass running back with cap space that we don't have. Just fantastic. But the Chargers, I don't know. Like it does seem like Herbert is being held back by Greg Roman and what Harbaugh want to do on offense. McConkey got loose for $111 and 2, but I don't know. It's one of those games that really doesn't say much about either team because the Saints, you knew, are just dinged up and not healthy right now. Chargers trying to get back to good, but we'll see. The Bills, impressive. The Bills travel coast to coast and put the bang thing on the Seahawks, and the Seahawks are firmly on fraud alert because they started out 3-0, and then they lost 3 in a row. Then they got back to where they once belonged with a win on the road against the Falcons last week. But the Bills just came in and destroyed. Just straight up. James Cook did his damn thing. Josh Allen is continuing to pad his MVP candidacy. Keon Coleman is starting to really settle in. So, I mean, I guess I buy the Bills. Not really buying the Seahawks, but no one circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. Panthers and the Broncos. So J.C. Horn was complaining to stupid ass Sean Payton about running up the score late, trying the fake field goal and blah blah blah. But but not buying the Broncos at all. I know the Bo Nix had a pretty box score, and the Broncos defense is pretty good, but it's also the Panthers, right? And stupid Sean Payton said essentially that after the game, and he's not wrong, but also screw him. And Carolina, hey, J.C. Horn, if you're free, let it be. Come on in. That's right. I'm just trying to trade for everyone. I got the Chiefs getting it done on the road against the Raiders, even though it wasn't really on the road. I mean, Allegiant Field was all red, which is what happens. Like the Raiders went from the best home field advantage in Oakland to the worst in Las Vegas because every single Raiders home game, the opposing team treats it as a vacation. They go have a fun weekend in Vegas. They go support their team loud and proud on Sunday. That's what happens, man. And the Chiefs, they're undefeated, 7-0, but do you see them as a juggernaut? Not particularly, but they're finding ways to get things done. This is a different type of Chiefs team. The defense is elite, and Mahomes is efficient, right? There's nothing mind-blowing about what Mahomes is doing right now. He's not reinventing the wheel. He's 50-50 with touchdowns and interceptions, but they're getting it done. And once the weather gets cold, and once you get into January and February, they know how to close, right? And then you got the Bears and the Commies. So, of course, all the storylines are about Tyreek Stevenson. That's just the U being the U. Cocking off to Commanders fans as the Hail Mary's going along, as well as he's the guy who tipped it to Noah Brown for a touchdown. It's just funny. It's just funny, man. Plus, so we watched like the middle part of the game among a lot of Bears fans, and they were all hyped. They finally got on the scoreboard. The Commies were setting for field goals. The entire time, I'm just like, you need to punch one in the end zone because this is going to come back and bite you. And also their kicker missed a 51-yarder. Just like, I wonder if that's going to be a big deal. But, the Bears scored a touchdown, and then they played the their fight song, and it's loud as hell. And so we were at dinner. I saw the final score, and I just assumed that Washington had held on. But I did not know that it was the debacle that it was, and it makes it 10 times more hilarious. And also, the fact that they hit that Hail Mary, It means that the Vikings aren't in the basement of the NFC North, which is fantastic. But for all of that, like, hey, Jaguars, how come you couldn't have done anything? Or Titans, how come you couldn't have shown up? But yeah, either way, hey, Jaden Daniels here, man. Also, the 1 year turnaround for the Commies, 6-2. Who would have knew? Got your quarterback of the future. Dan Quinn's actually kind of looking good. Who knows, man? Then lastly, Sunday Night Football. The 49ers have a myriad of injuries. Ayuk out with the ACL. Debo got banged up again. Nothing pneumonia related. But hey, pretty Ricky Pearsall had 4 catches. Which is fantastic. Also, Jordan Mason got hurt. So even though the Niners are just completely discombobulated right now, George Kittle had himself a massive day on National Tight End Day. They get it done at home against the Cowboys, who are certified frauds. Like, I don't care how much garbage time stats CD puts up, 13 for $146 and 2. That's a wrap for Dallas. Frankly, I think Dallas should be selling, hey, we will take your finest Zach Martins and Osa Odigizua. We'll do that up, man. Then tonight you got Monday Night Football, Giants and Steelers. Who cares? That's it. But your thoughts are thoughts. Week 8 NFL recap. Let us know your thoughts. You guys know what to do. Skull, production value.